Hey guys, just quickly wanted to say thanks for tuning into today's podcast. Just wanted to make this announcement before I start, and that is, I know a lot of you are listening on SoundCloud and YouTube, but did you know that this is also available on other platforms like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and also now Spotify? If you didn't know that, I'm going to leave the links in the description, and you can go listen on the platform that you visit the most. Hopefully it makes a better listening experience for you. And if you could kindly leave a rating on iTunes if you're already there, letting me know what you think about the podcast, I would be greatly appreciated. For today's podcast, I know I might sound a little bit tired and sleepy, but that is because I woke up at 5:30 a.m. But I hope the energy is still there when you're listening to the podcast for today. All right, hope you enjoy the show. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me on the 6th episode of the Deguess Podcast. My guest for today, his name is Christian and produces under the name October Child. And the song that you just heard before this intro is called Lullaby by Groundfold and Michael F.K., but it is an October Child remix. And Christian, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
What's up, man? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, no problem. I usually ask people what their background is, but before I get to that, I want to know where the name October Child came from. So how'd you come up with that name? Because I think that's a very cool name, actually.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I mean, I get that question pretty often, actually, and it's kind of annoying because I really don't have a good answer for it. Because okay, I mean, right. I was essentially the name it doesn't come from like a specific thing, but more like it comes from a feeling or an emotion or a state of mind, I guess. Like the month October to me has always been a month with a kind of melancholic and kind of not very uplifting and extroverted feeling, but more like subtle and the word child is, on the contrary, is very like heartwarming and positively, like you get good, yeah, you know what I mean, right? And
like good vibes.
Yeah. It's like a word that is loaded with positivity and the good vibes. So I kind of think like, if you combine those two, October Child, it gets like a perfect description of what my sound is, at least in my eyes and ears.
So so you were trying to go for an oxymoron. Is that something like, or the two words obviously are a little bit opposite to you in meaning?
Yeah, I mean they're not completely opposite either. It's just like it's just subtle differences in meaning, and I think that word and the name resonates very well with my style and my melodic style, I think. Yeah,
that's cool. I didn't think that. I never thought that October had a melancholic feel to it.
Maybe it's just that in Norway, because when you in October, shit, like it rains a lot and it's cold and windy and shit. It's not like that.
I know, man. Yeah, I mean October is not the prettiest month here either, to be honest with you. So yeah, okay, I understand. That's cool. I want to hop into your background, your musical background, what you've been doing when you started this. So go for it.
Yeah. Where do I start, man? I've been messing around with my DAW Fruity Loops since I was 10 years old, actually. So I've been going for it for quite a while.
That's a while, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, I've been just like, when I was 10, it was just like messing around, just trying shit and just doing random stuff. And the reason I got into it so early is because my big brother, shout out to him, by the way.
Right, yeah.
Also the other half of Dreamlight, which is my other alias. He also started making music when I was really young, and started out with FL Studio. So, and he was doing hip hop and rap music at the time. He does less of that now, and he does more electronic music. But yeah, he showed me the basics back when I was young, and I just kind of never left it. I guess I kept making beats and just like shitty ass hip hop inspired beats with some piano melodies and fast forward, I guess in 2004, 14, 15, I made my first like serious artist name when I like decided, okay, I want to do this and get really good at it and start doing it professionally, get it distributed and trying to earn some money for it. That was back when I made the name called Leap, like the artist name was Leap.
Okay.
Just Leap, and I released a lot of progressive house and that type of inspired music, and also some melodic dubstep, like very Sam Alliance inspired and early Elenium inspired music.
Right. I tried to go down all the way to the beginning of your SoundCloud account beginnings, and I didn't really find anything that I thought, because I think, what was it? Let me see when the last upload, the first upload was. It was about 2 years ago with Yuki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to start there, it's fine. I mean, I guess the interview is about me and as October Child, so that would be more relevant.
Oh, no. That's totally fine. I was just wanting to know, because I was trying to get an idea of where your very like first piece of production was.
Oh yeah.
But 2 years ago.
Yeah. You won't find like my first piece from the first track I released on SoundCloud, because actually the first thing I uploaded to the internet was way before Leap. I was actually back in 2009.
That's nuts. Okay.
Yeah.
And you were doing stuff. Okay, you said you've been producing for since you were 10. So I'm assuming that you had years of just tinkering around in FL Studio before you
exactly.
uploaded. Yeah, so I'd just like to have an idea of what the progression was like, and how, because when I listened to Yuki, I was like, this is not a bad first piece.
No, thank you.
Because but also I didn't realize that that was not the product of you just beginning to produce.
No,
that's a product of
not at all.
Several years. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the progression from when I started, I mean, it was slow as hell. You know, I wasn't even taking it really serious. I didn't even start making music seriously until I started Leap back in, I think it was 2014.
Right.
And when I started that, I was like when I actually began getting good at doing mixes, like mixing my own tracks and producing. I mean, I wasn't even good back then, but you know, I was starting to see progression more clearly, and it was like a goal for me to actually get good. So, yeah, I guess you could say like my career, I mean, if you want to call it that, started in 2014. Like that's when I professionally seriously try to get into making music electronically.
Yeah. But I think it's cool because, like, what year would you say this was? Back in 2006 when you started?
Yeah, when I first got to know Fruity Loops, and that was back when it was like Fruity Loops 5. You know, now it's like 12. You know.
I know, that's crazy. So it's just like
pretty old.
But it's cool because, I mean, it really is like a lot of people don't know the behind the scenes work before hopping into production, whether that's just practicing to produce in general, or that's a lot of performance. So I think, like, God, I wouldn't have known that you started back in 2006. That's a really early time to begin. Like, you barely had any resources to look up. I'm assuming, I don't know how much you had when it came to Googling different things for FL. I'm sure that it was out there, like on Gear Sluts or whatever. But you don't have the resources we do now.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Right.
I mean, you mean in terms of tutorials and how-to videos?
Yeah. We barely had YouTube back in 2006.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's really cool. I wanted to ask too, do you have any performance background at all, or do you just go in and produce?
Performance background? You mean like
like
actually
instruments.
Performing live? Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been playing guitar and piano since I was little, so those instruments have been part of me all the way.
Okay. And do you, like, okay, since you were little, were you just taking lessons, or did you actually go out and perform, like recitals and whatnot?
Both, I guess. But when I was performing, it wasn't like me playing a concert or anything like big. It was just like maybe there was a cultural event at my place, and I can do something like on guitar, or I even played the fiddle when I was really really young.
Nice.
But I don't think I liked it, so I kind of just quit playing fiddle and ended up playing guitar instead. And yeah.
Did you not like the fiddle, like doing lessons for it, or did you just not like performing it?
I think the lessons kind of ruined it, because
lessons ruin everything, man.
Yeah. I mean, like the lessons were pretty, not very interesting, and also, the other kids that I were taking lessons with back when I was, I started taking lessons when I was 6, 7 years old, like first grade type shit. And the other kids were like, I don't know, below average in terms of musical talent, I guess, if you get what I mean. Right. And I come from a family with a lot of music in it, so I had a very good head start in terms of understanding music theory and just like learning shit very quickly. So I guess the pace was too slow for me, especially when it came to fiddle.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So a lot of your musical understanding, it comes from the. Would you say that your knowledge and understanding of music theory is really intuitive? That's where it comes from.
If it's intuitive.
Yeah. Like, does music theory just click with you?
Oh yeah, I get what you mean. Well, yes, it kind of does, but I also have like a 3-year background of actually studying music theory. So, that was back in 2000. I finished it in 2005. Yeah, that was right. I have like I said, I have a 3-year background of studying music, and music theory was one of the like the classes I took. But it's also come very natural to me, like recognizing intervals and understanding chords and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess my answer would be yeah.
Right. How? What kinds of theory did you study? Was it just classical, or did you ever get into jazz as well?
We touched on jazz and stuff, and like music that comes from the New Ages, but like in the terms of theory, it was just like the basic theory, like chord progressions and ways to create chords and major and minor sevenths and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Really, because once you understand the fundamentals of getting your major and minor sevenths down, it helps to understand all the other extensions too. But that's kind of all that you need, especially for the genres that you're producing in. It's overkill, definitely. Really, if you try to do anything else and try to understand the movement from one jazz chord to another. I took a pop jazz theory class this last semester, and it
nice.
Yeah, I remember half of what I learned, but it's actually really cool to see and dissect why the guts and the structure of different jazz standards work the way that they do. Maybe not the most ideal application for electronic music, but definitely if you ever want to get into R&B, like that is a place of study. Like jazz theory. I think would be really interesting.
You also have like artists like Tennyson. I don't know if you heard about those.
I haven't.
That like create music that is incredibly complicated in terms of musical composition, and but it's still electronic music. It's just a great example of and they have been very successful as I think they're signed on Ausla, like Skrillex label.
Send me a link. Yeah.
I will. I'll love to send you a link to check it out. It's really good.
Do you listen to them right now?
Listen to what?
I can't even remember the artist you just mentioned.
Tennyson. Yeah. No, I'm not actually. I'm listening to Drake's new album right now.
Oh, Scorpion.
Yeah.
I've not been, dude. I haven't been into that one. I tried to get into it.
Yeah.
It's cool. I just haven't been into Drake's most recent. Like, I haven't gotten into More Life. I didn't. I liked Views a little bit. I liked the singles. Like, Nice for What was cool. God's Plan was. God's Plan wasn't even that great, but I like the vibe a lot. But it's just I think the production for me is hit or miss.
Yeah.
and I don't know, Drake's overall vibe, it gets kind of repetitive. But how do you like that album?
The reason I'm listening to it right now is just because I'm trying to get through it. I started listening to it yesterday and just got through the half of it and wanted to finish the rest.
It's
now,
90 minutes, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of tracks.
Yeah, like I mean, it's not as bad as Do you remember? Did you ever listen to Migos' Culture too?
Yeah, I did.
It's not as bad as that, but
No.
I mean, it's Culture 2 is just ridiculously long. I'm not gonna get into long albums. I know what they're doing. They're trying to make money off of streams, but I do want to ask you who else you're listening to, or who's in your like, I guess, your regular listening routine.
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess I have to mention that my biggest inspirations musically and the people who have like molded my sound the most is definitely Porter Robinson and if you throw Sound Hollow in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like those people have really like formed my style, like my music, the newer music, like the shit I make from now and onwards, and the past year has been like molded by those people. But the music I made like 2-3 years ago was very influenced by Elenium and Seven Lions, and I mean a lot of other artists as well. But yeah, I was very into melodic dubstep back in the day.
How about now? Do you still listen to it quite a bit, or are you on to different genres?
No, I don't really listen to it that much, but I have a few tracks laying around that I want to get out that had like that kind of sound. Yeah.
Oh yeah, talk to me about that. You have some new releases that are coming up. Yeah, and talk to me about the ones that you, I guess, are able to showcase in the next few months or so.
Yeah, I do have a lot of tracks laying around that are like almost finished. They're like production-wise, they're finished. I just need to get them mastered and like wrap it up. And those tracks were initially like intended for an album that I wanted to release already last summer, but it got delayed because I couldn't find the right timing, and I couldn't actually afford to do a professional mastering for all the tracks. And since it was like my first big album, I wanted it to be like perfect in terms of the mix down and stuff. So, but the technical stuff kind of delayed the whole process, and I kind of I just like I have the tracks ready and I want to release them, and I'm gonna release them. I think I have to release them in like a shorter EP or just a lot of singles coming up.
Right.
And I mean my most recent biggest track was the one with Anki and Neve that I released with Enhanced.
Yeah, I just listened to that one. That was a cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how often do you work on, I guess, vocal collaborations?
I've done it more the past year. I think I released, 3 or 4 tracks with vocals, like last year. And I have a couple more that I want to release soon that also are going to have vocals.
Nice. Cool. The recent releases then are stemming from an unfinished album. It's not, I wouldn't say it's unfinished, but it was from the idea of having your own album, but you're going to be releasing them as singles. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I think so, and that's mostly because it's been such a long time in between the tracks, like when I made them and until I made another one, and then like the whole like the concept of the album just kind of disappeared. And if I want to release an album, I kind of want to have a good concept behind it and behind all the tracks, like if you get me. So
right. Yeah, and that would take a while too.
Yeah, it would take a while, and I kind of need to start over. So I'm just probably gonna release the tracks as singles, or maybe just a short EP without a concept, just with the cool art, and yeah.
Okay. How so? There's no set, I guess, plan or like roadmap to releasing it. It's just gonna come out. Do you have an idea of when, maybe?
It's hard to tell.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to tell. I don't want to like give you a date or a time, but I'm hoping to maybe. Actually, I'm currently working on a remix that actually has a set date, and it's probably gonna come out this summer. I mean,
Nice,
if I can like finish it, I think that should be no problem. But those remixes that are part of remix compilations always have a day, and then I just gotta follow it. But my own singles, like my independent releases, is hard to tell.
Christian, so is there anything else that you've been involved with, I guess, like, because I know that you've been involved with a couple of labels or people to help you promote your music, so you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. I guess the most interesting thing to talk about would be my track with Enhanced Tritonals label. I don't know how you pronounce that name, but...
Wait, how do you... is it Tritonals?
Tritonal, yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a collaborative work with Anki and the vocalist Neve, who was previously called Grey, but changed her name to Neve. It's kind of interesting because this track is, in reality, is very old. Like, this was maybe, like, even when I started October Child, like, I released, like, a couple songs, like 3 or 4 songs. Then I suddenly, like, discovered Anki and his remix of Porter Robinson's track Language, which I thought was really good, back when he had, like, 700 followers on SoundCloud. Yeah. I sent him a message, asked if he wanted to collab. This is like 2 years ago, and we did a collab, and we made this track. And I think we only spent like 1 or 2 months on it, and when I was kind of finished. And then like Anki and his manager, oh God, I can't remember his name, but the guy who owns Waves Music on YouTube wanted to get in touch with a vocalist, and and that just took like such a long time, like. The vocalists they worked with, Neve, I don't know why it took so long, but anyways, it took like over a year before he got back to me, and I kind of thought that the collab was dead because I didn't hear anything, and yeah, you know, no, and then like he confirmed that we're gonna release it, and then another half a year passed, and he suddenly signs with Enhanced, his album Circadian, or his LP rather, Circadian re-released it with Enhanced, and I think a couple more months went by until like we finally got a release plan. So, and we named the track All or Nothing, and yeah, it's probably my most successful release ever because of how huge the label is.
Oh, okay. So. And you are gonna be working with them in the future for a couple more releases?
That's right. When I last signed with them for this track, it also kind of binded me to give out 2 or 3 non-exclusive tracks with the label, I think. Well, what? Okay. I'm planning to work with them in the future. Yeah.
So I've never dealt with labels or promoters. So talk to me about what do you mean by a non-exclusive versus an exclusive? I'm actually not entirely sure, but I think it's just basically that I can release a track with their label, like on their label, and it's gonna be their track, but I can still like work with other labels in between the period. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay, yeah, I thought it was gonna be that you had the ability to distribute alongside them distributing it, but I wasn't entirely sure.
I get what you mean. That's like the first thing that comes to mind, but that doesn't make sense, to be honest. So yeah,
that's what I was thinking too. Thanks for shooting me down like that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I got you.
And I know that you've worked with another label. I know that you wanted to talk about
Yeah. I wanted to give like a quick shout out to the label Just Chill Out and Adam, the guy who owns it. And also my good friend James Goodman, who's an incredible guy. I think he's like the AR dude.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice.
AR responsible. And yeah, I've been working with the label Just Chill Out for the past year and a half, I think. And given out a couple, I think 3 tracks in total. 3 tracks with October Child, 2 of them being on their compilations.
Okay.
And also 1 track with Dreamblack called Time Lapse.
Okay.
So yeah, over the course, I've been slowly but surely getting more into this label, and I'm planning to work with them in the future.
Yeah, I saw their artist lineup. It's not well. I took a peek at their artist lineup. Didn't
Mm.
actually listen to any of the artists. Sorry, Adam, if you're listening, but I will get to it. I listened and I heard you on there, but
Yeah.
it's a short lineup. It's like what 10 artists that are on there.
Yeah, I'm not sure like exactly how many, but
Yeah.
on their SoundCloud it's like 9 or 10 artists. But I think in reality it is quite a bit more actually.
Yeah. Actually, how I found you, Sublime Weakness, was that was a JCO release with the other two?
I don't think that track was a JCO release actually. I don't think that track was just independently released by AK.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remembered that that's how I first actually heard of you, so I was just
All
wondering
right.
if that was.
Cool.
But that was probably, was that before you signed with the label? That was like, I think in October, September.
Yeah,
of
this is
2016.
this is before, and I haven't actually really signed like not I mean I have a very they let me have creative freedom, and also like, lets me have space to work with any other label if I want to. So I haven't actually like binded myself to that label in any
okay.
way. I'm
Gotcha.
just like in my own lane. I'm choosing to work with them because they're really cool people.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what you do look for anyway in the labels, and you have
Absolutely.
it's obviously at the end of the day, it's just another collaboration. They have the networks, you have the talent and creativity. As long as you are able to be creative, and I think Adam has. I suspect that Adam has a very similar philosophy where you be as creative as you want. It brings out the best work that you could possibly bring to the table, and then they'll just go ahead and promote it for you. That's that's what I suspect.
Yeah,
he
I think
believes
you're right
too.
on that one.
Yeah.
He has a
Cool.
really good and healthy mindset when it comes to releasing music and being like the collaborative process between like the so-called label and
Yeah.
the artist, you know.
Yeah, at some point I want to dive into that a little bit more, but my
Sure.
my knowledge when it comes to working with labels is very limited, just because I've never actually worked firsthand with them. It's not a problem.
yeah.
It's just that I don't have much to say other than what I assume is happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Yeah, cool. One last segment, I guess.
Yeah.
Christian.
Yeah.
Is where I will be asking you about your favorite plugins, and you give me as quick of an answer as you possibly can. If it's not quick, if you need to explain your answer, go ahead and definitely do that. Totally ripping this off of the Dave Pensato playbook from one of his shows.
Right.
And try your best to not apply any of the plugins onto your voice as we're talking.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually a great tip, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just wanted to throw that out there for all anybody that's listening. When the last time that Christian and I did this, he was throwing reverb onto his voice as we were talking, bounced the audio file, and forgot to save the project. So it ended up sounding like a mess. So we're doing this again.
Yep.
Christian, round
Yeah.
1, pianos.
Alicia Keys, Contact.
Okay. Fair. Guitars.
The Real Thing, I guess.
The real thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I could just repeat what I said yesterday, and I think there's
Yeah.
like I haven't really discovered
Yeah.
any really solid guitar plugins that replicates the sound as good as you can record anything on with a decent mic and it will sound better.
That's true. Do you have any favorite guitar, like actual guitar models, or is that not something you know much about?
I don't think I'm really picky on the models, but I do own a really nice acoustic guitar. I think it's a Morgan one this time, yeah.
Okay.
And I do also have an electric one, but I mostly just play like acoustic guitar. That's been my favorite instrument so far.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Strings.
Strings. That's actually kind of hard because I do have a couple, but I guess Miroslav Philharmonics is a really good one.
Miroslav? Like,
yeah.
is it Miro Slav?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. No, I've never heard of that that plugin before, actually. So that's
No.
cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty big
Yeah.
one actually. Though it was kind of expensive, but it's been it has a lot of cool instruments, not only strings, but it has like a lot of percussive instruments as well.
So it's like an orchestral suite.
Yep, exactly.
Is that the only one that you have, or do you have any other orchestral suites that you go
Well,
to?
I think that's the only orchestral one, but I do have I don't remember the name exactly. Session strings is it? Session strings.
Okay. Drum samples.
Oof. Yeah. I mean, for you mean like everything, like kicks or
Yeah,
samples in
everything,
general?
or you get your the place you source most of your drum samples from.
For kicks, I'm usually like I like using this plugin called Kick 2, Sonic Academy's Kick 2 for kicks.
Okay.
Which is what I'm using for most of my kicks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and
is that a
for
plugin?
everything else, yeah, it's a plugin. It's like a standalone plugin. You use to generate kicks, and you can mold the LFO, and yeah,
Okay,
it's
sweet.
pretty good.
Nice.
And for everything else, I do have a whole lot of samples that I've like collected over the years. A lot of it I've gotten from my brother. Shout
Okay,
out
that's
to my
fair,
brother
yeah.
once again
Nice.
for providing me with the samples, and everything from, you know, I used to use Vengeance back in the day when it was like when that was good, and that was actually kind of horrible, I think.
Yeah,
And,
is that like a huge like sample pack? Is that I think?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't checked out their last release, but and I do have some
Yeah.
Virtual Riot samples, and also like Kishmar and Black Octopus, Leviathan.
Yeah. Do you ever
and
use Splice at
also
all?
a lot of Splice.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, Splice is just it's a subscription service where you pay $8 a month for 100 sample downloads. Is why I'm asking.
Yeah, that seems like a good deal. I just haven't got into it.
Okay. Let's see. Your synth, your favorite synth.
Yeah, I kind of thought about it. I guess my answer is still going to be Serum, because that's
Yeah.
the one I have most. I mean, the Serum doesn't really have any cool preset sounds or anything like super dope, but I just prefer this plugin because I know it the best one.
Did
I
you
know
say
it, like,
there wasn't
pretty well.
anything super dope on it?
I mean, I don't think like the Serum presets you get.
No,
are
the
super
presets
cool.
suck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but like the things you can do with it are amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That was my point.
Yeah,
When
okay.
you know the plugin and you can like make shit from the scratch, then you can make some really cool shit.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go on to mixing. I should have given you a little bit more time to think about this one, but favorite compressor, if you have one in mind.
Well, I'm using the Fruity Loops multiband compressor a lot for my to give an edge to my mixes in general. Like when I do like DIY mastering, I tend to use this one.
Okay. Yeah.
It has a couple nice tools that you can use, and also FabFilter's Saturn, I guess is the way you pronounce it. It's really nice. It gives you saturation. and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's the saturation. I'm a huge fan of that plugin actually too. But unfortunately, I don't really have access to it. I mean,
that's not really a compressor, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good plugin, I guess.
Yeah. Do you know much about saturation plugins aside from Saturn from FabFilter?
Let's see. Not much.
Like
I'd
tape
say.
machines at all?
No, I don't know much about that. I don't think I have any other than Saturn actually that are worth mentioning.
You could probably live with Saturn for like the next 10 years and be fine. So I mean, I can't. That's not a bad thing.
I mean, I have the Decapitator from, I think that's
Sound Toys.
Sound Toys. Yeah, that one is pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, Sound Toys has a lot of good stuff. I know that they
It decapitates the sound.
Oh my, Christian, why'd you do that?
Sorry, man.
All
Let's just
right.
continue.
Good joke, man. Good joke. Favorite EQ.
Pro Q2 by FabFilter.
Okay. Reverb.
Eventide Black Hole, I guess.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking about this.
Yeah. This is when I fucked up the sound last time when I put the Black Hole on the actual mixer track I was
Yeah,
recording.
good job. Amazing. Thank you.
I won't do that again.
But did you throw the plugin on the track? You threw
Yeah,
it all.
I was like,
Okay.
I had like the track selected, and then I just, didn't think about it.
Okay. Do you usually route your reverb into an aux?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you throw it right on top of the track.
Sometimes I do that, and other times I put it in send.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So
So
that,
like send it.
Oh yeah. Of course,
Okay.
I could put it in send just to like save CPU and have more control over it.
Okay, because I remember for the longest time I was throwing reverbs right on top of the track and then messing with the wet dry knob, and it sounded it always didn't sound natural. And then when I learned that you're supposed to send it, it like clicked in my head.
That's true.
Yeah. So how about your delay?
Well, the aside from the crystallizer, which I mentioned yesterday, which is really dope, the Sound Toys crystallizer, I think like the new Delay 3 by Fruit Loops is really solid and strong.
Uh-huh.
And it gives you quite a lot of tools to mess around with. Like the Delay 2, the one that they had prior to this one, was just absolute trash. You couldn't use it.
Yeah.
And the Fruity Delay Bank also has a pretty cool preset called Alternate 2, which is really nice.
Okay. Nice. Do you have a mix bus?
What do you say, a mix bus?
Yeah. Basically, it's where you just put a set of plugins on like a master.
Yeah, I know. I think I have one for vocals, but I'm not sure actually.
Okay. All right. I was just curious about that.
Yeah, the reason I'm not sure is like because I've been working on multiple laptops, because sometimes I work with my brother on Dreamlike shit, and then we use his laptop, which has a lot of mix buses, and he has everything on.
Okay.
And when I return to mine, I tend to forget to make them. So
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Was just wondering about that. Let's see. Anything else? Is there anything else that you want to talk about, man? Because I think I've exhausted all my my fire round questions.
Do you play video games?
Not at all. I'm so sorry. I know. I get.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you this, man. Like a lot of people look at me. I don't know what, but they assume that I must game up to some point. Last night I was working. He's like, "Bro, do you game?" And I said, "Yes." He thought I said yes. He's like, "I see. I read your mind." I'm like, "No. I didn't say I gamed. I told you to guess if I did." Everybody thinks I game. The last game that I ever really got into was Halo. That was back in high school.
Yeah.
But you game.
Yeah. I guess you could say that. And Halo is also a great franchise, by the way.
Halo's amazing, actually. I mean, like, I stay away from it, but it's actually a really cool game. I think
Shout out to Bungie before they gave it up.
Wait, what's going on with that?
No, it's just that Bungie was like the guys who made the games like Halo 1, 2, 3, and I don't know, one more I think, but I think they either gave up the rights or somebody bought the company. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know this.
Should.
I asked you this before you threw a ton of reverb onto your voice. iPhone or Android?
Android.
And what phone do you own?
The Galaxy.
Okay.
I won't say which one because mine is really old.
So it's like I'm gonna say it's like an S5. I'm gonna guess it's that.
That's
old.
exactly what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, at some point you're gonna have enough money to both upgrade the laptop and the cell phone, which is gonna be great. Don't worry, we're all in like the same boat trying to upgrade all different sorts of things.
Yeah, I'm expecting that this interview will help me.
Guys, if you want to donate to PayPal,
go fund me, please.
Nice. Okay. Well, I think we're not gonna be begging for money there too much.
Nah, man, I don't stress about money.
Yeah. Well, I will say at some point I'd love to do a Dreamleg podcast. I think that would be definitely interesting.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And then at some point, I don't know, does your brother do anything solo? Does he do any solo work?
Yeah, he does a lot of solo work. He does like more solo work than we do together.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be interesting too.
But yeah, he's like, I'd almost say he's like a full-time musician with multiple stuff going on. So.
How much older is he than you?
8 years older.
8 years. Wow. Okay.
He's an 88 model.
He's an 88 model. All right. Cool.
Nah, but like I said yesterday, you should get in touch. I mean, I could always like mention it to him, but
I did already.
He probably has a lot of.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you did?
messaged him.
Yeah, cool.
He said he would go ahead and check it out. But yeah, so
Dope.
it would be cool if you could. I don't know if he'll listen to this. I know that he's busy. This is going to turn out to be quite a longer podcast than I thought it was going to be. But at some point, I'd love to talk to him and see what, if he wants to get on and do an interview. That'd be awesome. So.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, man.
All right, cool. Well, I think we're gonna leave it at that. That was cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely do a part 2, probably with both halves of Dream Lag On, and then we'll go from there.
That would be dope, man.
Awesome.
I
Thank
just
you,
double
Christian.
checked, and the reverb hasn't been applied. So,
dude, save the project.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry.
All right, cool. All right, Christian, thank you.
Thanks, man. It was a fun chat.
All right, cool. All right, we'll talk later.
Yeah, man. Peace out.
All right, peace. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. It would mean a whole lot if you decided to leave a comment telling me what you thought. And if you want to hear anybody else on this podcast, let me know too, and I'll see if I can get in touch with them. Also, share this with anybody who you think would find this interesting. Again, thank you so much for coming by. It means a lot, and we'll talk to you in the next one.